Imagine an early morning in a small but picturesque town, where the sun is just beginning to chase away the darkness, and the cool air promises a new day. On this day, the world-famous Leonardo DiCaprio arrived in town to participate in a charitable project aimed at supporting the local hospital and drawing attention to healthcare issues. For the actor, it was not just another public visit. He wanted to prove that behind the glimmer of his film roles lay a sincere desire to help people. Approaching the hospital building, DiCaprio felt a mixture of excitement and a touch of apprehension. In his eyes shone determination, and in his heart, the desire to change something in this seemingly forgotten community. Despite its sterile shine and well-kept appearance, the medical institution breathed a history of struggle against bureaucracy, indifference, and internal conflicts. His footsteps echoed down the corridors, heralding a fateful encounter. In the hospital, legends circulated about an elderly woman named Maria Ivanovna, who for many patients was a symbol of resilience and truth, a person unafraid to speak what everyone thinks but dares not say aloud. Her confident gaze, slightly squinted eyes, and somewhat clumsy walk spoke of years spent battling injustice. At the very moment DiCaprio took his first step into the foyer, Maria Ivanovna was already waiting for him in an old armchair in the corner of the waiting room. Her face was etched with wrinkles, each one holding memories of past losses, trials, and small victories that had brought hope. She observed the actions of the staff and noted how everyone around seemed to freeze in reverence before the celebrity, forgetting the most important thing, the people who truly needed help. She thought, here come these fashionable types again, believing that glamour and popularity solve all problems. Her inner voice was full of skepticism and the wisdom accumulated over many years, knowing that true care is measured not by the number of photos for social networks, but by sincere, immediate actions. As Leonardo began to visit the wards and engage in friendly conversations with patients, his presence naturally attracted the attention of staff and guests. However, in one corridor, tension started to build. What had seemed almost idyllic quickly gave way to the moment of truth. Suddenly, a loud, confident voice resounded. "You, Mr. DiCaprio, come here to showcase your charity, but in reality, you leave people to their fate." It was Maria Ivanovna, stepping toward the celebrity without hiding her disdain for showy visits. Her words struck like a hammer, shattering the illusions of those around. Slightly taken aback by such an unexpected attack, DiCaprio tried to respond calmly. "I have come here to help," he said, striving to maintain his composure. "My goal is to draw attention to the real problems of the hospital." Yet her voice persisted, carrying not only anger, but deep pain. "Help? If only you would stop for a minute and ask what is truly missing, you would see that words mean more to you than deeds." This scene quickly drew everyone's attention. Patients, medical staff, and even casual visitors witnessed the escalating conflict. In the corridor, an atmosphere reminiscent of a theatrical stage prevailed. One voice spoke of noble intentions, while another conveyed a painful truth. At that moment, a nurse named Olga, known for her kindness and fairness, quietly but decisively interjected, "We all know that real change is needed here, not another glamorous visit." Her words only fanned the flames of confrontation. Rumors of corrupt schemes within the hospital began spreading like wildfire through a dry forest. Some patients recalled promises of help that never materialized, while the staff appeared absorbed in personal concerns, neglecting the people. DiCaprio felt the mounting pressure of public opinion. His voice grew softer as a sense of responsibility mixed with uncertainty welled up inside him. He realized that he was at the center not merely of a scandal, but of a real drama where the fate of people and the future of the entire institution were at stake. In the midst of this tension, the dialogue reached its climax. Face to face, amid swirling emotions and fleeting glances, DiCaprio took a decisive step and asked, "Tell me your story. I want to understand the trials you have endured." His voice was filled with a sincere desire for truth. Initially, Maria Ivanovna raised her eyebrows in skepticism, paused briefly, and then began recounting her long life as if turning the pages of a well-worn book. "I am Maria Ivanovna," she said with a slight tremor, "and my life has never been easy. I have seen the system break people, and every new day brought only pain and disappointment. There were times when I lost loved ones, when promises of help remained empty words. And now I am here to say, true help begins with honesty and sincerity, not with showy visits where only pretty words matter. Her heartfelt words, filled with personal drama and experience, made many stop and reflect. DiCaprio, moved by the depth of her emotions, confessed, "Like you, I often feel powerless before a system that makes us believe in the illusion of change. Sometimes even my fame cannot shield me from indifference and apathy." His admission sounded like a revelation, evoking sympathy and understanding. The onlookers, initially full of condemnation, began to fill with respect for someone brave enough to show vulnerability. That turning point marked the moment when sincerity triumphed over ostentatious grandeur. After the intense exchange and deep admissions from DiCaprio, a profound silence filled the corridor, a silence charged with the expectation of change. The atmosphere shifted. There was no longer room for arrogance or performative nobility, but rather a sense that something important and fateful was about to happen. Gazing intently into Maria Ivanovna's eyes, DiCaprio promised, "I will do everything to ensure change happens. Today I take responsibility for ensuring that every person in this hospital is truly cared for. I will initiate an investigation and a transparent inquiry into all violations so that not a single voice goes unheard." His resolute and sincere words echoed throughout the hall. In that moment, patients, staff, and even those who had come by chance felt that the future could indeed change. Glances of hope mingled with a slight skepticism, yet the understanding remained that change begins with dialogue, openness, and a willingness to listen to one another. Within the hospital, beyond its sterile corridors, a new breath began to stir. Stories once lost in the tide of indifference revived in the hearts of people. The promise of change made by the celebrity gave hope to those who had long awaited genuine care and attention. In Maria Ivanovna's eyes shone not only the pain of past years, but also the light of certainty that even one sincere conversation can ignite the flame of change. Quietly she said, "Perhaps this day will mark the beginning of something new. Let our scandal serve as a lesson for all of us, a lesson that true strength lies in honest communication and mutual support." Thus, on the threshold of a new phase of change, where even the smallest detail could play a decisive role, the destinies of people intertwined into a complex tapestry. DiCaprio and Maria Ivanovna, two representatives of completely different worlds, faced harsh reality together and discovered in it a seed of hope capable of sparking real transformation. As a moving silence settled over the hospital, where every minute of waiting seemed like an eternity, the hearts of those present filled with the conviction that even the deepest wounds can begin to heal when treated with sincerity and mutual understanding. This first part of the story left us with a question. Can one person, whether a celebrity or an ordinary pensioner, change a system locked in an icy embrace of indifference? From that day forward, as Maria Ivanovna's resonant voice echoed through the hospital corridors and Leonardo DiCaprio opened his heart before the gathered crowd, something began to change within the institution. The air was filled with the sense of long-awaited renewal, as if the hospital itself was ready to shed its old chains of indifference and let genuine care bloom. Patients, once neglected, began watching every step of the change with hope. In the corridors, not only staff, but also people eager to listen to one another emerged. Elderly patients shared their stories. Young doctors studied archival documents with interest. And even the technical personnel, once relegated to the background, found their voices. In every glance there shone a new spark, the long-missing hope for a better future. DiCaprio, realizing his visit had become a catalyst for change, began organizing meetings with representatives from all groups within the hospital. He held roundtable discussions where everyone could express opinions, share problems, and propose ideas to improve the institution. These meetings took place in a small conference room, where the walls seemed to absorb every word and every emotion. "Our hospital must become a place where every voice is heard," he declared with genuine conviction, his words laying the foundation for collective change. People soon understood that transformation is not a series of grand declarations, but a gradual, challenging process requiring time, effort, and mutual trust. Maria Ivanovna, who had become a symbol of sincerity and truth, became a constant participant in these meetings, her sometimes harsh yet heartfelt words helping doctors and staff grasp the true meaning of their work. She shared personal stories of her struggles against indifference and injustice, of mornings that began with a fight for a small victory, and of the time when a helping hand was extended to her in her darkest moment. A moment that became a lesson, and a symbol that even in the darkest corners, light can be found. Weeks passed, and the hospital began to change gradually, step by step. Signs of renewal appeared in every corner, renovations in the wards, new quality control systems, and most importantly, a genuine attitude from the staff toward their patients. One of the first changes was the hospital management's decision to conduct an internal investigation into all complaints of corruption and negligence. Under the pressure of public opinion and DiCaprio's personal involvement, a committee comprising patient representatives and independent experts reviewed all procedures, examining every complaint and hint of misconduct with utmost care, the results of which became the starting point for further reforms. "We must not only treat illnesses, but also restore people's trust," declared one committee member. And those words resonated with both staff and patients. New training programs, modern technologies, and regular inspections became integral parts of the hospital's daily operations, proving that change was not an empty promise, but a series of concrete steps to improve the quality of life for every patient. DiCaprio actively participated in these processes, attending meetings, consulting with management, and even offering his ideas to optimize operations, demonstrating that a celebrity with immense influence could indeed be a catalyst for real social change, not for fame, but to prevent such stories from ever repeating. Maria Ivanovna, undeterred by past struggles, began organizing weekly meetings for patients in a small hall where they could voice their complaints, hopes, and dreams. These gatherings evolved into a forum for discussing not only hospital issues, but life itself, conducted in a warm, almost familial atmosphere where stories were shared, experiences exchanged, and solutions sincerely debated, reminding everyone that true change begins with dialogue. Among the patients, new heroes emerged as young individuals, inspired by Maria Ivanovna's example, organized small community initiatives, assisted in arranging leisure for the elderly, and participated in charitable activities, small but significant steps toward global transformation, reflecting the truth that change starts with each person. Over time, the hospital's atmosphere transformed radically. What began as a conflict between a celebrity and a solitary woman evolved into a powerful social impulse that united people across all ages and statuses. DiCaprio and Maria Ivanovna, now symbols of renewal, proved that even the deepest wounds can heal with sincere communication and mutual support. Every day at the hospital began not with a monotonous routine, but with the assurance that here, no one was forgotten. The management continued to introduce innovations, and inspired staff genuinely cared for the patients. Laughter, conversation, news, and reminiscences filled the corridors. A new sound, the sound of reborn hope. Outside, the public began to take notice as local media published articles, discussions of successful reforms spread, and hashtags dedicated to the hospital's transformation emerged on social networks. The town, once known for an outdated healthcare system, became a symbol of the possibility of true change when people unite for a common goal. DiCaprio continued meeting with community representatives, sharing his experiences and inspiring others to take action, reminding everyone that regardless of status, each person can contribute to societal improvement. His words became a mantra for those who chose not to wait for miracles, but to become the architects of change. Maria Ivanovna, once seen as a stern old woman, had become a true legend, a symbol of strength and perseverance, teaching people not to fear speaking the truth, however harsh it might seem, for honesty is the foundation of genuine trust. At one final meeting reviewing the reforms, patients, staff, volunteers, and local authorities gathered, their hearts filled with gratitude and light, as every word spoken that day promised a bright future. Standing before the assembled crowd, DiCaprio declared, "Today we have proven that change is possible. It doesn't matter whether you are a movie star or an ordinary person with life experience. The important thing is to have the courage to change your life and the lives of those around you." His words resonated deeply, serving as the final chord of this moving symphony of change. The story that began with a scandal in the hospital became a lesson for the entire city, teaching that change starts with dialogue, honesty, and a willingness to listen even to the hardest words. That the strength of a community lies not in loud slogans, but in small, sincere actions and the acceptance of one another, despite imperfections. Over time, the hospital became a model for other institutions as reform spread throughout the region. Local authorities began to focus more on healthcare by introducing new standards and quality controls, and society grew more united and attentive to each individual's needs. DiCaprio and Maria Ivanovna continued meeting not only within the hospital but also at public forums, where their stories inspired new generations to do good and strive for change. Their encounter reminded everyone that true greatness is measured not by stardom, but by one's ability to change and transform the world. In this once-forgotten institution, a new breath of life was born, bringing new stories, victories, and hopes each day. Although the journey was difficult, people learned to believe that even the deepest wounds can heal when treated with sincerity and mutual understanding. This story became living proof that change does not depend on titles or status, but is born in the hearts of those willing to speak the truth and act for the common good. With each passing day, the hospital transformed into a place where everyone felt significant, where respect and care became the norm rather than the exception. Today, as the residents look back on the path they have traveled, they recognize that this very day was a turning point in their lives. The tale of how a celebrity and an ordinary woman found common ground and united their efforts to change a system stands as a model and inspiration for those who dream of a just world. As the sunset wraps the town in golden light and the last rays break through the clouds, a quiet voice tells this story, a voice filled with wisdom, pain, and hope that reminds us every good deed, every sincere word, and every open encounter can work wonders, bringing light even into the darkest corners of our souls. May this story remain not merely a tale, but a living reminder that change begins with ourselves, with our willingness to listen, understand, and love, and that if the stars can shine in the sky, so too does a light burn within each of us, capable of illuminating the world around us. Today, the hospital stands as a symbol not only of medical care, but also of human unity, where every story, every word, and every action matters, inspiring us to new achievements and reminding us that even the smallest spark can ignite the flame of change, for true strength lies in love, understanding, and mutual support.